All right, well, we are at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for joining this webinar here today, right? So this is Cloudbyz and Pharmetique Labs, and we're going to be talking about how we have partnered up with Pharmetique and we help them solve some of their challenges as they are administering their pharmacovigilance practices. And so we're super delighted to have our guest speaker here with us today. We have Dr. Melissa Bernal, who is the Director of Pharmacovigilance at Pharmetique. All right, so as discussed, we'll be talking about how we kind of partner together to solve Pharmetique Labs challenges in pharmacovigilance. So as a quick overview and agenda as to what we'll be talking about here today, we'll start off with some participant introductions. Right, then we'll be going through kind of Cloudbyz as a company and Pharmetique Labs as a company. So you kind of have a background as to what our two companies do. And then we'll jump right in and kind of talk about some of the challenges that Pharmetique Labs were facing as they were trying to administer their pharmacovigilance processes, some of the pain points that they were experiencing. Then we'll kind of take a step back and talk a little bit about how Salesforce and the Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance solution were deployed in tandem to make sure to help fix kind of Pharmetique Labs issues and kind of resolve their pain points, right? And then we'll be giving you a quick solution demo and kind of be able to show you exactly what we did and talk about some of the cool features that we have implemented to make the pharmacovigilance processes more effective and more efficient. And then, as always, we'll save some time here for the Q&A. I do believe that we have the Zoom Q&A inbox open. So, as you kind of have questions, please feel free to kind of put them in the Q&A. We will be monitoring the chat throughout the presentation. For some of the questions, if we want to answer it right away in the chat, we'll go ahead and do that. If not, we'll save some that we think are really good discussions for the last 10 minutes or so. All right, so without further ado, let's kind of get into some introductions here. So I will go ahead and get started. So folks, my name is Dushyant Raicher. I am a project lead and pharmacovigilance implementation specialist here at Cloudbyz. So I work with our clients all the way through from the pre-sales process and demoing all the way through to post-implementation support to make sure that the pharmacovigilance solution that we're deploying for them meets every one of their business and technological needs, right? So I've been here at Cloudbyz for about 2 years and have some good experience with some successful PV deployments. All right, so with that, I'd like to turn the ball over to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Ajit Patel.
Thank you, Dushyant. Before I begin my introduction, I'd like to share some statistics with you all. I'm quoting the National Center of Biotechnology Information, abbreviated as NCBI. World statistics shows that 3.7% to 16.6% of hospital admissions are attributed to adverse drug reactions, and 0.3% adverse drug reactions are fatal in nature. Several studies in Europe, Israel, USA have estimated 5 to 10% of all admissions to the emergency medical ward are due to adverse drug reactions, or simply known as adverse events. And shockingly, between 44,000 to 98,000 deaths occur per year due to medical error in the United States alone. In the next 50 minutes, we are going to learn how technology can help us reducing these numbers. Once again, thank you all for finding time to attend today's webinar. My name is Ajit Patil. I'm a PharmD doctor. I have been in healthcare and life sciences industry for over 5 years. Prior to joining Cloudbyz, I served at tertiary care hospital as part of my housemanship. So at Cloudbyz, I'm a business technology consultant and subject matter expert for safety and pharmacovigilance software products, imparting industry-specific knowledge in product management and enhancement activities. Alongside clinical space, I educated myself in Salesforce domain, having 3 certifications of this technology as of now. So this platform knowledge enables me to quickly understand the client's requirement and tailor a solution for their specific needs. So that's pretty much about me. As a special treat, we have Dr. Melissa Bernal Salazar, Director of Pharmacovigilance, Pharmetique Labs, and she's joining us all the way from Colombia. Dr. Melissa, would you like to add something in your introduction?
Thank you, Ajit. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Melissa Bernal. Currently, I'm the Pharmacovigilance and Patient Safety Director from Pharmetique Labs. I'm a physician with a specialization in epidemiology, and I've been working in Pharmetique Labs in PV for the last 5 years, and previously in clinical trial safety. I'm also currently a member of the Board of Directors of the Colombian Pharmacovigilance Association and member of the International Society of Pharmacovigilance, where I have the opportunity to collaborate in several projects related to patient safety and the correct and rational use of medicines. I'm so happy to be here with you all today, participating in this exciting webinar. Thank you so much to all Cloudbyz team for this opportunity and for the help that they have provided me during the process, especially to Ajit during the development, Pooja with the sales and financial process, and Ananya, Raghu, Vinayak for all their support. Sorry if I'm missing someone. I hope you all find this information interesting and helpful as I found it myself in the past weeks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Melissa Bernal. We really, really appreciate it. All right. So let's talk really quickly about Cloudbyz and kind of give you a company overview here. So folks, Cloudbyz was started in 2014 with a very simple mission. That was to offer innovative end-to-end cloud-based solutions for the life sciences industry with customer centricity at our core. Right. So basically, folks, what our co-founder saw was that in the health and life sciences space, there was really a lack of end-to-end solutions to help provide clarity, efficiency for our health and life sciences companies. And so in 2014, they came up with an idea to go ahead and have an entire suite of end-to-end clinical operations solutions, including CTMS, including EDC, patient recruitment, eTMF, every single point along the clinical operations pipeline to have a solution for that built 100% on the Salesforce cloud. So today we're going to be really kind of honing in on our pharmacovigilance solution, but all of these products sit on the same platform and can be deployed together, and they would all talk to each other. So as we know, all of us who work in this space know how important compliance is. And so we have really focused and made sure that our solutions are 100% FDA 21 CFR compliant, right? As a company, we have been ISO 27001, as well as ISO 9001 certified, right? And our solution is furthermore GXP, GAMP5, and HIPAA compliant. Along with that, 100% of our entire workforce is GCP certified as well. So with that, I'd like to pass it to Dr. Melissa Bernal. Please go ahead and talk about Pharmetique.
Thank you. For those who haven't heard about Pharmetique, we are a company part of a family-owned business group called Grupo Carval here in Colombia. And we have over 25 years of experience in the Latin American market with a big portfolio of pharmaceutical products for human consumption. Basically, we have 3 market segments: generics and over-the-counter products, branded prescription, including oncology and biosimilars, and the business of contract manufacturing, where we have clients like Sanofi, Boehringer, Grunenthal, Glaxo, among others. We have currently 5 manufacturing facilities, 4 in Colombia and 1 in Venezuela, and here with more than 900 direct employees. Next slide, please. Carval Group has developed 8 companies in various sectors oriented to health, nutrition, and wellness, being Pharmetique the second one founded within the group. Next slide, please. Our vision is to be the pharmaceutical company with the best performance in terms of growth and market leadership, contributing to sustainable development in the Latin American countries where we are present. And our mission to work for the health of humankind in order to generate more life and better life. Within this purpose or goals, one of our most important pillars is pharmacovigilance and drug safety, which is why we dedicate great interest in improving our processes to ensure compliance with regulatory standards and ensure that our drugs are used safely. This is why, given the changes in the process of reporting adverse events here in Colombia, we decided to look for a company that will provide us with a solution that meets the expectations of our PV program. Next slide. So what were the challenges we faced? First of all, as I was saying, INVIMA completely changed the platform for reporting adverse events and adapted to the Uppsala platform, seeking standardization of processes and ensuring that the information could be read by different platforms. INVIMA used to use the massive report through an Excel format, and now it is through XML format. However, this format must be done through a software that we didn't know how. Of course, we had the option to report case by case, but this could take more time because we handle 100 cases per month approximately, so this will be unproductive. The platform we used was more to know the events reported than to give an adequate follow-up and traceability of them. So our processes were completely manual. If, for example, I needed to merge two events because of temporal relationship, I couldn't do that, and I had to do it within the event description of one of those. We did not use MEDRA, which is currently implicit in the regulatory changes I was talking about, and it's very important for coding process. We had no way to generate alerts to track events such as serious adverse events. Additionally, we had no way to generate the SIOMs in an electronic way, so we have to do it manually. And we have to save them in PDF format in folders. So as you can see, we have inefficient PV processes. There was a change in the regulatory landscape. That's the reason why all the process was begun. We didn't have an appropriate technology to do our processes. And this was faced in all the problems we had in the correct and appropriate report within the current regulatory changes. So with all this said, we present our concerns and needs to Cloudbyz, and they have helped us in every step of the way with a great solution that they're going to present next. Thank you.
Right. So thank you so much, Dr. Melissa, for taking time to explain the challenges you and your team faced before opting Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance solution. All right, so now that we know what were the challenges, it's time to understand how Cloudbyz helped, or rather helping, pharma and device manufacturing companies in carrying out their clinical trial and pharmacovigilance processes with fully compliant, robust, and secure cloud-based solution. But first, let's define what is cloud. Moving to the cloud, running in the cloud, stored in the cloud, accessed from the cloud. These days, it seems like everything is happening in the cloud. But what exactly is the concept? In short, it's somewhere at the other end of your internet connection, a place where you can access applications and services, and where your data can be stored securely, which does not need local server to store, retrieve, and access your data. The cloud is a big deal for three main reasons. First, it doesn't need any efforts on your part to maintain or manage it. Secondly, it's effectively infinite in size, so you don't need to worry about running out of capacity. And third reason, you can access cloud-based applications and services from anywhere in the world. All you need is a device with a good internet connection. As I mentioned before, and undoubtedly, Salesforce is #1 cloud-based technology. The reason it is a multi-solution platform that is designed to help businesses, whether you are promoting a service, selling a product, or having end-to-end innovative solutions like Cloudbyz has. So this platform helps you to keep a track on all your organizational data and clients' information, ensuring that nothing falls through the cracks. And they do it with help of vast range of their clouds, products, and out of the box features. Some of them have been listed on this slide. It's a very innovative platform with customer centricity at its core. It's highly configurable, extremely flexible, and incredibly scalable. And the best part is it's totally compliant to all the regulations, making it widely adoptable in the life sciences industry. And the same platform is being leveraged by Cloudbyz to provide world-class pharmacovigilance solution. Let's understand that next slide. Leveraging a proven platform to build out a capability natively using Salesforce declarative methods, which makes it low code or no code kind of application. In all our solutions, we have incorporated advanced features like single sign-on, two-factor or multi-factor authentication, IP login restrictions, advanced threat detection, and so on. Additionally, our system works extremely well with Salesforce Health Cloud, despite the fact that it is not required to use Health Cloud in order to run on Salesforce platform. We are fully validated and compliant Salesforce ISV partner, which allows us to provide you with all the best-in-class features that Salesforce has to offer. Our pharmacovigilance system can be used by study managers, investigators, medical monitors, medical safety officers, clinical research associates and coordinators, data managers, and adjudicators. The best part is it is seamlessly compatible with tablets, mobile, and laptops. Let's understand the core pharmacovigilance features in depth on next slide. All right. So based on industry trends, our company has developed an end-to-end solution to address the critical challenges and pain points. Our product allows you all the way from case intake, case triage, and all the way through case reporting, which is nothing but regulatory submission and KPI generation. Our system includes features such as multi-channel case intake to handle the triage of inbound events, whether from patient or from HCP as a result of spontaneous reporting, or from sites as a clinical expedited reporting process. Our system comes with user-friendly adjudication process, which accommodates all your pharmacovigilance workflow steps, such as filling out assessment forms, managing automated tasks, using any narratives, managing source documents, and so on. Furthermore, you can incorporate medical dictionaries such as MEDRA, WHO-Drug, IMDRF into our system, making medical coding simple and in-house. As a pharmaceutical company, you must have been asked for various regulatory documents in various file formats, such as PDF, doc file, JPG, PNG attachments, Excels, and so on. Our system is capable of generating such reports with the click of a button, which will pull the data from various sources such as subjects, products, clinical studies, site, and etc. Such system-generated reports will save you a significant amount of time and efforts while maintaining absolute accuracy by avoiding human interventions. These are some of our highlighted features. Due to time constraints, I may not be able to explain all of them in detail, but let's talk about how we solve Pharmetique challenges on next slide. So as we understood from Dr. Melissa, that Pharmetique has a global presence in over a dozen countries, and they are a leader in primary care drug. The challenges they were facing apparently was they were struggling to efficiently capture and process and report adverse events to ICSR database. One major challenge was to have a system in place that can generate fully compliant XML output that adheres to all the ICH guidelines ICH guidelines stated as per international standard for the transmission of electronic safety data signed as per E2B-R3. I'd like to give you an example to explain this further. Assume there are two forms with similar fields. However, the first form is filled with the responses, whereas second is a blank. And you are required to fill out the second form manually. This sounds fine because there is only one form as of now. But what if there are 100 such forms and you have to manually transfer the information with from one form to another with 0 errors, and that too on regular basis? I know it's time consuming, error prone activity. Consider the possibility of system having export feature which exports a file containing the data from all 100 forms. that is E2B R3 XML. Our system is capable of generating XMLs, which is highly compliant. Pharmetique was spending a significant amount of time, effort, and most importantly, money to manage the PV processes. Because they are a global company, they required multilingual support as well as a portal for external users to upload adverse events. We worked with them to implement Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance system, and users are now able to capture and process events in record time, as well as trigger automated tasks and email alerts within minutes. Additionally, management has complete visibility on every single piece of information. Pharmetique is now able to save time, save money, and make better pharmacovigilance decisions by utilizing the Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance system. With that being said, I'd like to ask my colleague Dushyant if I can share my screen and give a high-level walkthrough of our system.
Absolutely, Ajit. Please go ahead. So I'll stop sharing and you can
Sure.
take it from there.
Sure. Is it visible?
Yes, I can see it.
All right. So this is what our Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance system homepage looks like. On homepage, you see the dashboard, which is nothing but a collection of reports. So every single card here on this dashboard are backend, they are reports, nothing but a key performance indicators. So, and right-hand side, these small components represents your daily activities, such as this quick note. Here you can add and store your quick notes. Like this, and you can review your adverse event for this day. Scrolling further down, I see calendar events. So this is standard calendar feature wherein I can see my upcoming meeting. For now, I'm having a PV webinar and upcoming meeting as well. I can schedule events for myself and my teammates. Tasks are nothing but these could be manually created or system generated task. With this simple card, you can see your today's task. You can see all your tasks, all your overdue tasks, etc. and etc. If your company has formal approval process, then this card will give you all the pending approval items over here. On the click of a button, you can reach to that particular record and you can take necessary action. So I would spend more time on homepage and reports later in the later segment in this discussion. So let me quickly jump and show you what exactly we have built for Pharmetique. So Pharmetique's entry point of adverse event are primarily 3 points. First is patients, second is HCPs, and third is they run their patient program, which is run by their nurses. So basically, for Pharmetique, it was very necessary to streamline the process and have a portal where nurses can log in and report the adverse events. So this is how the portal looks. And with the platform's capabilities, Pharmetique has complete control over accessibility and visibility of nurses. So for now, Pharmetique has given access to adverse event, patient, and product. This is completely in Spanish. So this is how it looks on the portal. So whenever nurses log in, they have their separate user credentials. They can add extra information if they want. They can come to any module and they can add adverse events straight from the portal, which will reach to our platform within seconds. So this is how nurses will click on any module and they'll see the related data to it. And all their adverse events, created adverse event, they see it here, they click on this button and they can create adverse event. So this is all about portal. Let's see other side of it, the platform side of it. Let's start with clinical study. So if any pharma company wants to onboard their clinical study in our pharmacovigilance system, here is where they can see all the study related details. And our platform is completely on the policy of relational data. So you can see all the sites associated to this clinical study, all the subjects enrolled under this clinical study, adverse event reported under this clinical study in one view. So here is where the clinical study details we can capture, and we can onboard our clinical study under this module. So I will explain you XML, the final output at the end of this segment. So let me go ahead and show you what's there on the cases. Cases are nothing but entry point of any adverse event, which are not yet confirmed as adverse event, but they have been entered onto the system. So here is where you can see all the details about this case. If you have a source of cases as a literature review, you can capture all the information under this tab. You can associate subjects with this case. And you can, for now, let's understand how the approval process works. For example, if data entry person adds any new case and they feel that this case has to be submitted for approval because all the information has been filled in, so they have to click on submit for approval, add the comments, and submit it. As soon as they submit, the submit for approval button disappears, and the approver will receive one email alert and notification stating that some case is pending for their approval, like this. So as an approver, you need to click on this link, and you have to take necessary action, seeing at the data. So this is how our approval process works. Additionally, you can track the approval history. The entire back and forth game you can track here from the case initial entry till it gets submitted or converted as adverse event. So from here, let's jump to adverse event. This is adverse event detail page. So this page has a lot of processes on automation in place. Let's see one by one. So when you come to adverse event page, you see first a checkbox, which is nothing but serious adverse event. Let's suppose if somebody marks it as serious adverse event, system will automatically fire an email alert and notification, which states that this particular case or adverse event has been marked as serious. And this is how email template you can design with your own sort of branding and theme. So the user who got notified can reach to that particular adverse event by clicking on this link. Going back to adverse event, let's suppose you have some SAE timeline in the place. And since this particular event has been marked serious today, so the SAE timeline is green. Let's suppose 2 days are passed and no action has been taken. So SAE timeline will turn yellow. Same if nobody sees at this particular event for 7 long days, then SAE timeline will become red and it starts sending the follow-up emails. This is all about SAE timeline. Sometimes, first of all, we are not allowed to delete anything from pharmacovigilance. So Cloudbyz Pharmacovigilance solution comes with Archival Policy. On click of a button, you can inactivate this particular adverse event and everything will be read-only mode. So nothing can be edited on this page. And this pop-up will be always visible on this adverse event. So this is all about SAE timeline and inactivation of particular adverse event. Moving next, let's see the narrative. It's very important to narrate this scenario or the adverse event, what exactly has happened. So our system comes with 2 ways. First is manually you can enter your narratives, or you can choose from existing template, which makes your job easy and pulls the data from particular data point. In our case, let's suppose if I go with first template, I see serious spontaneous report. I see the information about the investigator, which is Jane Doe, Dr. Jane Doe. Let's suppose if I save it, and it is coming from the different data sources. For example, principal investigator. So that particular data is coming from here, this data source. So our system comes with, as I've mentioned, our system comes with two processes. One is manually entering the narratives or choosing the existing templates. All right. So it's very important to assess the case with medical supervisor or medical specialist. So this particular forms will help you to assess the case thoroughly. When you click on edit, you see a lot of data points here, and you can place all sort of automations on this form. On click of a checkbox, it will automatically fires an email alert or notification to respective users. So this sort of automation you can have in our system on any of the forms. Moving next, source document. So we all know that how important it is to substantiate any adverse event. To do that, we require a lot of laboratory documents. So this particular component or this form will help you to track all your source document requests and processes. So on click of a button, you have to give the date when you are requesting the source document and submit it. System will automatically give you a pop-up to upload the document. And here, whenever you receive, you have to check this checkbox and give the date, upload the document and submit it. Once you upload, automatically system will turn this particular logo into view mode. And you can easily view that file over here. So this is all about source document and its processes. Not only that, I missed one point, so I'll go back and I'll show you. Whenever you narrate something, and if you want to kind of a version control it, you can do that on click of a button. When you click on finalize narrative, automatically system will send a PDF file under the document section, and this will get stored under document section. So this is all about narrative, source documents, and assessment. Let's talk about Pharmetique, what we have built. That's nothing but SIOM's form. So when this is a dynamically generated form, a PDF format form. When you click on this, you'll be routed to PDF, which you can locally download or directly send it from here to the regulatory bodies. And all the information on SIOMs is coming from different data points, like suspected drug information, concomitant drug and history, manufacturer's information, etc. and etc. Similar way, you can create Medwatch, you can create SUSAR forms, you can have all sort of periodic safety reports in our system. So that's pretty much about adverse event. Let's jump to the XML part of it, which is highly regulated and which is nowadays it's in very demand of all the regulatory agencies. So I've talked about relational data. So from adverse event, all adverse events are looking up to the clinical study. And that's why when I click on generate XML, I see all the adverse event which have been reported under this clinical study. So now as a user, I have the ability to choose certain reportable adverse event and export the XML. Boom. On click of a button, it generates XML, which is a readable file format for your regulatory agencies. So all you can do is you have to download it locally and you have to submit it to your regulatory agencies. If your regulatory agencies are allowed for e-filing, we can have the APIs and we can integrate our platform directly to your regulatory agency's platform. And from here, on click of a button, you can submit all your adverse event. So this is one way of doing it. Or let's suppose if you want to give a date filter, maybe from 1st of January till the date, right? And you want to export all the adverse event, just need to click on export and system will generate XML. So this is how the XML looks like. Every single line has its unique value. For example, this line talks about company which is submitting this XML, what kind of adverse event, which is the regulatory agencies it's submitting, what is the narration, etc. and etc. So this is completely adhere to ICH guidelines, and it follows all the guidelines of E2B R3. So this is all about XML. Let me go back and talk about homepage. So as I've mentioned, this is dashboard. These are internal out-of-the-box feature of our system. You can create multiple such dashboards, and these dashboards are user specific. You can assign these dashboards based on user's role. For example, you can create for management different dashboard. For the as a hierarchy, you can create multiple dashboards and you can assign it to their user profiles. Let me talk about one report. Yeah, so this is how report looks in the backend. So you can create such simple reports, and you can add the charts on top of it on click of a button. Like this is currently a donut chart. I can switch it to bar, column. I can add multiple fields. Not only that, the cool and highlighted feature is you can subscribe these reports and dashboards. When you click on subscribe, you have to give the time and date range. Maybe you can subscribe it daily or weekly, on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, or maybe monthly. And you have to give the time, at what time of day this report should be sent to your inbox. You can add participant, and you can save this. So system will automatically send these reports to your inbox on given time and dates. So these are the highlighted feature of our pharmacovigilance solution. If you are really interested, we can go we can go in a deep, and we can explain you this on demand, on request. So one last feature which I've forgot to explain you was Medra coding. So now Pharmetique can do in-house Medra coding, and this is dynamic search. All they need to do is click on preferred term, and let's suppose if they want to search fluid. This is how the result appears, and when they click on this, they get all the related information like LLT, PT, HLT, HLGT, and SOCs over here. They can directly link these Medra codes to the adverse event from here itself. So that's all from my side as a demo today. We are open for questions. Dushant, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ajit. That was a fantastic session. So let me go ahead and we can kind of go ahead and get started with some of the questions and the answers. We do have a couple that have already come in. So thank you for those of you who have shared your questions. Please feel free to kind of put them in the chat as we described. All right, so the first question, one of the first questions, excuse me, that I saw in the chat was a great question here asking about the portal. And basically the question was, you showed us how it works for nurses. How about for other healthcare workers? How does the portal work? So Ajit, you can take that on.
Yes. So all portal users are external users, and you can create separate profiles for them, be it nurses or be it doctors, or maybe for investigators, for site monitors. You can create such profiles, and you can associate those profiles with those users, and you can control with the permission, and accessibility and visibility.
Yeah, great answer. Yeah, exactly. So basically, it doesn't matter, right, whether you're a nurse or a doctor or some other kind of reporter as such. the portal is going to work for you. We would set that up kind of working with your teams to make sure that it's secured and we have the role-based access. But absolutely, at its base, basically what we're doing is we're opening up access to users who would not normally have it, to make it really easy for you to capture those cases and those events as they come through. So yep, absolutely. We have another question here asking about how we restrict access on the platform. So I can take that one. We just talked about the portal, and that is actually one way that we would restrict access. The portal would only be for quote unquote external users, people like your nurses or your site investigative staff, right? But when you have your internal users as well, right, who are accessing the system on a daily basis, our system makes it really, really easy to create these really granular permission structures, right? So we can have it be at the role level, we can have it be on, kind of groups of users that are being clubbed under one kind of role. So we can do things like that. And what makes things easy in our system as well is that, it gets processed automatically. So what that means is, let's say that I am a user, maybe I have access to, out of 10 studies in the system, maybe I have access to 3 of them, right? We can define that. And so that way, even when I go to other places, like such as reports and dashboards, all the information I would see on my dashboards and on my individual reports would be, related to the permissions that I have. So, I would see 3 studies worth of data on my dashboard, for example. And those are the kinds of things that we can do, kind of leveraging out of the box permissions and access schemas in our system. Fantastic. All right, we have a few other questions here. Let's see. There's a bunch of them. I'm just kind of scrolling through. Okay, here's a good one. How does your system integrate with other third-party data sources like, EDCs and such? Okay, so that's a great question, right? So, as Dr. Ajit kind of mentioned in the beginning, right, our system comes equipped with open APIs, right? And so what that means is that we can connect very, very easily to third-party systems. So whether that's an EDC, whether that's some other kind of database that you folks are using, and in some of our different kinds of implementations, this has included things like budget software, it's included things like EndtoEnd QuickBooks, so on and so forth. So the scope of the integration is pretty much endless, right? And one thing that we always say, and what we've seen actually in our previous implementations, is that many of our clients and partners, they want to keep their old EDC, right? Because they have some kind of contractual obligation, or their users are just used to it. And so what we say is your users, either at the site or at the study level, can continue to leverage your existing EDC, your existing third-party system. But we would just integrate it in such a way that the data comes over from there into our system, and then it becomes accessible to the users who have access, right? So that's what we have done. So we can work with you and your IT teams and your business stakeholders to find the best way to leverage integration. So that way it's the easiest experience for both you and, of course, your users. All right, so we have another question here. How many different languages can your system support? So Dr. Ajit, why don't you take that one?
Yes, sure. So basically, as I've mentioned, our most of our, all of our solutions are built natively on Salesforce platform, and Salesforce inherently supports a lot of languages. Precisely, I don't know the number, but a lot of international languages it already supports. It means all your data points and all your backend stuff also will be translated to your preferred language.
Great answer. Thank you so much for that. Oops. All right, so we have another question here. How intuitive is the system to use? How much training is kind of needed? So yep, so those are 2 questions there. So I'll take those one at a time. The first question is, how intuitive is the system? Right, as you kind of saw, it's really quite simple to use, right? One of the things that we really pride ourselves on, and one of the things that really the Salesforce cloud platform really allows us to do, is to build these really easy solutions for our users to use. Because right, it doesn't matter how great our features are, or how secure or how scalable the system is, if your users are scared or they don't feel confident using the system on a daily basis, then essentially it's a complete waste, right? And so what we really made sure every step of the way in our design and our user interface is that it's really easy and intuitive for our customers to use, right? So that means that the navigation is quite simple. I think as you saw on the home page, you have those top global navigation tabs right there that you can click in and out of very easily. You have a global search bar, right? That we also have that actually indexes every single piece of data in our system and allows you to really quickly find what you're looking for. Right. Apart from that, in terms of the ability to build your own reports and dashboards, as Dr. Ajit was showing, it's really, really quite simple. It's all drag and drop functionality. Or even if we're talking about building your own custom automations, all that is also drag and drop. And so the system is really quite easy to use, right? And with that, right, as part of our implementation, the second part of the question asks, what is the training like? And what we do is we have a couple sessions. Usually it's about 1 or 2 sessions for admins or your power users. And we have 1 or 2 sessions for your end users, right? And what we do in that session, folks, is that we train you up on how to use our system. We'll kind of, create for you a really nice, user manual for each group of users, and we'll walk through step by step, right, in multiple sessions, right, how to use the system. And then the folks at Cloudbyz are always there to help you out, right, in terms of if you need help with how to use the system. But one of the great feedback that we've received is that our system is quite simple to use as soon as the users can get trained up. So yeah, that's a wonderful question. All right, I'm getting a couple more here. Let's see. What kind of automations can you build on your platform? All right, good question. So there are all different kinds of automations that we can leverage, right? And those are all built, of course, on the Salesforce automation engine, right? So I can talk about a couple, and maybe you can dive deep, I think, specifically on flow, as you're quite of an expert there. But I can talk about things like our process builders, right? Really simple. That's one of those drag and drop automations. A great example of that is what I just showed, the automatic task generation, right? Or the automatic email notification generation capabilities in our system, right? It's really, really simple to use, and we have all kinds of different automations, right? So as you saw, right, when we're integrating data or when we're entering data into our system, it acts as a trigger, right? And that's really the first point of any automation is, what is that trigger point? And so that trigger point in our system can be anything. It's an action that gets performed. And based on that trigger, we can tell the system, when you receive X input, you have to do Y action. Right. And so that could be sending out an email. It could be starting on approval process, so on and so forth. So Dr. Ajit, I don't know if you wanted to discuss maybe in a minute or two about flow and how we can leverage the even more robust automation capabilities that are there.
Yeah, that's correct. And really great question. So Salesforce, the platform itself believes that, and their policy says that low code and no code, basically they want to convert everything as a low code platform. So going forward, whatever kind of processes or automation user or the companies want to build on top of Salesforce or on top of our solutions, they can do it using workflows, simple workflows, process builders, where they need not to code really. They just need to create some workflows with point and click, drag and drop, and they can have all sort of automations based on that. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajit. All right, so you spoke about compliance, right? So how does that work for your system? Yep. Great question. And I'm not sure if you caught maybe the first 5 minutes of the presentation, but we'll be posting this and we can send this out to you as well, this presentation. But basically, our system is completely compliant to a whole host of different regulations, right? Those include 21 CFR Part 11 compliant. We are HIPAA compliant. We are Annex 11 and EU GDPR compliant as well, right? And on top of that, we can build into our system, right, these compliant reports, as well as Dr. Ajit was kind of mentioning in the demo, right? So not only is our our system and our solution completely validated and completely compliant, right? We would also, as part of the implementation process, we'd be sharing that kind of information with you as well. All right, so getting some more questions here. So how do you handle, multiple studies, automations, and users in the system? Okay, that's a good question. I think what this question is really asking is how scalable or how flexible is our system to kind of accommodate doing new things on it. So basically, folks, as has been mentioned, because we're on the cloud, right, and we're built on top of Salesforce, we have access to essentially as much information, as much storage as we need. Right. And so we can easily grow and scale our solutions as your organization grows and scales as well. Right. So one of the value points that we always bring up is that we like to meet our clients where they are. And that really goes across every single thing that we're talking about here today, whether that's your processes or whether that's what you're kind of looking for in terms of automations. Right. And this goes for how many studies, how many users, how many sites you want to manage on our system. We'll kind of meet you where you are, and then we would grow and scale with you. So basically the answer to that is there is no real limit to any of our, capabilities, right? In terms of, a normal amount of studies and sites. And so we would go, this is all kind of part of our value add, right? In terms of, having a cloud-based solution. All right, I'm seeing another one here. What is Cloudbyz's unique value proposition? Okay, well, that's kind of, along lines of my last answer. Dr. Ajit, why don't you take that one?
Sure, that's a great question, by the way. Don't you feel, Dushyant?
Yeah, that is actually, and it kind of goes, along lines of what we've been talking about.
Correct.
I think that's a good one.
So there are many actually. First of all, as we already talked about cloud and cloud-based solutions. So first and foremost, this can be connected to any external system with open APIs. If the third-party tool has open APIs, we can connect our system with. We have approval process, and not only simple approval process, we can automate those. We have history tracking kind of a thing, which is kind of a important for any system to become a compliant. So we can audit trail on any of the module which I've showed you so far, maybe clinical study, site, subject, so on and so forth. You can literally check who has changed, what time, which kind of a data they have changed, and what was the original value and what is the new value. So kind of a history tracking you can do. You can basically our USP is our system is template driven. So it's basically when you have to create templates in the backend and you can reuse for your processes, right? So system supports all kind of file format generation, as I've mentioned, PDF, doc file, Excel, XML, JPG, PNG, and etc. Right? Data backup policy, which is very, very important because nothing has to be deleted or lost from the system. So we have data backup policy. You can automate that. You can system will automatically takes a backup of the system, and whenever you need, you can retrieve it from the database. And as Dushyant mentioned in his last answer, cloud technologies are auto scaling. So you need not to really worry about the capacity or running out of capacity, right? Bulk insert and bulk updates. For example, if you have your current retrospective data, you can bulkly import that data into our system whenever you opt for our system, right? So no installation is required, no servers are required. This is web-based, the cloud-based technology. You just need a good internet connection. It's highly encrypted and highly secure. So those are kind of unique propositions I can think of it right now, but there are many. Hope that answers that question, Dushyant.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great answer. All right, so we're coming up on time here. So Dr. Ajit, I think we have time for maybe one more question, and this is a good one, I think, to maybe end this session on. right? And the question here is, can you give me some examples of some of the customization that you've done in previous implementations? So Dr. Ajit, I think we can each take this. I'll start with a couple and then maybe I'll pass it to you and you can add in a couple as well. So yeah, that's a great question, right? And so if we take one step back, right, all of our solutions, obviously, they work great out of the box, but as Dr. Ajit was kind of alluding to, part of our value proposition is that not only can you use our solutions out of the box, but the real value gets derived, right, when it's fit for purpose, when we can fit and mold the system to meet your very specific, pharmacovigilance or safety needs, right? And these needs, they may be defined by the structures of your study, they may be defined by your business units or your verticals, right, or the type of product that is kind of being tested in these clinical trials. So whatever those nuances and differences may be, that is where our implementation team really comes in and is able to add that value to make sure that what you're purchasing, that what your users are using every single day is built around them and their needs, right? So that's just the high level answer. Now let's get specific, right? So a couple of things just pop into my head. There's so many, but one of the big ones, right? One of the big pain points I feel that I'm proud to have helped this company solve is that they had a requirement that they had to have a highly regulated European regulatory report generated for them, right? About twice a week. Right, and this report, I don't want to name any names here, but this report is really for it's for European clinical trials that are being run, and it's quite stringent, right, as all of our regulatory reports often are, and it was quite complex in the terms of the type of data mapping and the data structure that was needed to produce this report, right? And so the pain point really was that they have their own data team. Would take about 2 or 3 people. It would take them at least 2, 3, 4 hours a week to produce this, because this report had to be produced about 2 times a week. So what we were able to do, similar to the CIOMS, if you saw that one, similar to the CIOMS report generation, we were able to, at the study level, be able to create a button that would generate this entire report upon the click of a button, right? So it took all this different data and a lot of this data was actually coming in from integration that lived inside our safety system and was kind of scattered in a bunch of different places. And our report was able to take all of this data, put it in one beautifully formatted export for them, and then they were able to simply click a button and save about 3 to 4 hours of work every single week, right? And so that, I think, is one of the big customizations that we've done that I'm quite proud of doing. One more that's kind of in the integration vein of things is that we were integrating with a legacy system that, quite frankly, was not very flexible, and there were some technical limitations there. So what we had to do was we came up with an integration schema that essentially is getting data about 4 times a day and is getting kind of different data every single time, in order to not tax their servers, right? So because this was a bit of a legacy system, we had to work around a couple of things, right? But we were able to get that done for them. Not only that, right, we're able to set up an integration log object for them. Essentially, for every single integration batch that was running, it kind of goes in the back end and it transcribes, okay, you got the study data, there were 25 different pieces of data applicable, and 25 had come over. So in the case that there's any errors or any issues, this log actually tells the end user, hey, you had 2 pieces of data missing actually, and here's why. Right, and so that way they didn't have to come to us if there were any issues with their integration. Their IT team was actually able to handle at least the first level of triage for those events if they happened. So those are 2 that really come to mind, off the top of my head. Dr. Ajit, do you have a couple as well?
Yeah, I think we are on top of time, but still I can explain you one thing, because
Yes.
it's very crucial in all the clinical trial processes, is dynamic case report forms. When I say dynamic, as a user, you should be controlling the case report forms and what goes on the form. So in our system, users can create such dynamic case report forms and associate with particular clinical study or particular study processes, so that they can reuse and those are kind of case report forms which are study specific, not the rigid and static old case report forms. So that's one more customization we explicitly worked on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Ajit. All right, folks. So yep, we are on top of time here. So thank you all so much for joining this session. We hope that this was a value add for you. Special thanks to our guest speaker, Dr. Melissa Bernal. Thank you so much for your time and really for your partnership as we work together. Right, to really help Pharmetique Labs. So thank you so much. Folks, if you want some more information about our solutions and maybe a more in-depth demo, obviously we didn't have too much time here today. We will be reaching out to all of the different attendees, right, via LinkedIn, but please feel free to go to our website, www.cloudbyz.com, and you'll find ways there to get in touch with us. So thank you all so much and have a great rest of your Thursday.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.